Let me hit you with something uncomfortable, tech leaders. It's not your code quality, your tech stack, or even your competition that's killing your team. It's what you don't see coming. Burnout, turnover, the silent killers of tech teams. It creeps in quietly, no warning. So one day, your top talent is driving projects forward, and the next thing you know, they're checked out, mentally gone, or worse, gone for real. But here's the kicker: this isn't about long hours or too much work. It's much deeper than that. It's systemic, and most leaders miss it until the damage is done. So today, I'm pulling back the curtain on what's really fueling burnout and turnover in tech teams. And trust me, it's not what you think. Stick around because I'm going to show you how to stop it and where we're heading next. Here's the thing: burnout doesn't show up waving a red flag or flashing a warning sign. It creeps in quietly. It starts when the top engineer, who used to throw out creative solutions every sprint, suddenly stops speaking up in meetings. Tasks take a little longer, energy fades, and before anyone says a word, they've already quit, mentally if not physically. In tech, this happens more than anyone likes to admit. We're sitting on a burnout time bomb, and most leaders are just too busy watching sprint metrics to notice the fuse burning. You know what the average tenure of a software developer is these days? Barely 2 years. Two. And every time someone walks out that door, it's not just a headcount problem. It's knowledge lost, momentum stalled, morale shaken, and replacing that person takes months, costs a fortune, and drags your whole team down with you. And the worst part, most of it could have been avoided if we'd seen the signs earlier. Now, I worked at a fintech startup, sharp people, brilliant product, but they were pushing so hard sprint after sprint that their senior devs started ghosting meetings. Productivity tanked, and by the time leadership noticed, half the team was already interviewing somewhere else. Why? Not because of the workload, but because they felt like cogs in a machine with no end in sight. Now, at another SaaS company, leadership proudly installed nap pods and hired a meditation coach. Great perks, right? But the team kept burning out. Why? Because those things don't fix broken systems. They just put a band-aid on them. But here's a classic. You promote your best developer to a team lead role. No training, no support. And suddenly, your star performer is drowning in management tasks. Frustrated, overwhelmed. What happens next? Either they burn out or they quit and take their skills and all that institutional knowledge right out the door with them. Now, before we dive in, you're going to hear me use a term a lot today: tech army. And let me explain why. I call your team a tech army because that's exactly what they are: highly skilled, mission-driven people tasked with building, defending, and advancing your product every single day. Like any great army, they need strategy, purpose, and the tools to execute, not just orders barked from the top. And just like any army, when leadership fails them, morale collapses and good people walk away. So when I say tech army, I'm not talking about code monkeys or ticket takers. I'm talking about your most valuable asset, the people on the front lines of building what keeps your business alive. Now let's talk about what's really driving burnout and turnover in your tech army, because it's not just too much work, it's so much deeper than that. It's baked into the way most teams are structured and led. The first point is the lack of autonomy. One of the fastest ways to lose your tech team is to strip them of control. When every decision, big or small, has to run up the chain for approval, your tech army stops thinking like problem solvers and starts acting like task rabbits. They disengage because their expertise doesn't matter anymore. All that talent wasted. No clear purpose is the next issue. Your tech army doesn't fight for free snacks or fancy offices. They fight for a mission to build things that matter. But when your product strategy shifts every week or leadership can't answer, hey, why are we doing this? Your tech army feels like mercenaries without a cause. And eventually they just stop fighting. They go through the motions until the next job offer lands. Now, the next problem is constant context switching. Imagine being on the battlefield and every 5 minutes someone yells, "Change direction!" That's what context switching does to your tech army. Slack messages, Jira tickets, surprise meetings. Every one of these breaks focus. And just like that, the energy drains. It's death by 1,000 interruptions, and no army can survive that for long. Now, the next issue is accountability without support. Picture this. You hand your top engineer a mission critical project, set an impossible deadline, then walk away. You tell yourself, I trust them. What your tech army hears is, You're on your own. Good luck. That's not trust. That's abandonment, and it creates a culture where your team carries the weight of accountability without a single ounce of leadership support. And yeah, they burn out. The next issue, wrong people in the wrong seats. And finally, sometimes that problem, it isn't how much you're asking, it's what you're asking. You promoted your best coder into a leadership role they never really wanted. Or you've got a brilliant backend engineer forced into client demos. Well, what happens next? They struggle. They burn out. Not because they aren't talented, but because your tech army is fighting the wrong battles. And that's the real cause of burnout and turnover in tech. It's not long hours, it's mismanagement of the very people you rely on most. Your tech army is capable of incredible things if you lead them the right way. Here's the truth, guys. Burnout isn't a personal failure. It's not because your engineers aren't tough enough or your designers can't handle pressure. It's not a them problem. It's a system problem, a leadership problem. When your tech army starts to burn out, it's because the system they're operating in is broken. The way work flows or doesn't, the decisions you make as a leader, and the environment you create, that's what drives burnout, not laziness, not lack of talent. And if you don't address it, turnover becomes inevitable. Best case, you spend months rehiring, retraining, and watching productivity crawl while your remaining team picks up the slack. Worst case, your tech army fractures, top performers walk, morale crashes, and your product suffers. The competition is going to pull ahead while you're stuck trying to rebuild. Now, here's what most leaders get wrong. They think burnout is a vibe problem. So what do? They throw perks at it. Another pizza party, more swag, a mental health day, maybe even a team building event where no one really wants to be there. But here's the hard truth. You can't fix a broken problem with perks. You can't patch over structural leadership failures with free coffee and meditation apps. That's treating the symptom, not the cause. So what actually fixes this? Rethinking the way you lead your tech army, not working harder, not leaning on trust me speeches. It's about learning how to lead smarter, how to build a system that prevents burnout before it starts. And that's exactly what I'm going to be breaking down in my upcoming leadership masterclass. I'm going to show you the real reason that your tech army is burning out and how to stop being the silent cause of it. Not with more perks, but with leadership that actually works for modern tech teams. So, if any of these issues feel familiar, if you're seeing the cracks forming in your tech army, it's time to take action because burnout and turnover, they don't fix themselves. They grow quietly until the damage is done. The difference between a thriving tech army and a team that's barely engaging isn't about working harder. It's about how you lead, and that shift has to start now. So here's your next step. Join me inside the Executive Tech Alliance. This is where we dig deeper into leadership challenges tech teams face every day. Real strategies, real conversations, and a community of tech executives committed to leading smarter. Head over to join.techleadershipos.com or click the link in the chat to join us now and get immediate access. Here's the kicker. Members of the Executive Tech Alliance will get first access to my upcoming leadership masterclass, where I'll break down exactly how to transform your tech army from burnout prone to high performing. Don't wait. Join now. Join.techleadershipos.com because your tech army deserves better, and so do you. Now, if you have questions about any of this, if you have questions about the mastermind, if you have questions about the Tech Executive Alliance, drop them in the comments below. I'll be happy to get back with you. Or even better, send me a DM, Tech Army, those two words, Tech Army, and I'll get back to you and we'll chat about what you can do. Maybe you're in a hurry. Maybe you're facing this problem now and you can't wait until that leadership mastermind. Well, I can still help you. So send me a DM with the words Tech Army and we'll talk about how you can solve this burnout and turnover problem that you're experiencing. So one more time, join our free community at join.techleadershipos.com. Think of it as Tech Leadership Operating System, techleadershipos.com. Because again, your tech army deserves so much better, and you deserve a tech army that isn't burnout and walking away from their job constantly. See you in a couple of weeks for another session.